Alright, well I've got a little area sized up out there, and I got my bucket of water. So I think I'm going to make a small farm, grow some wheat. I need a tool for that. I'll make that now. I'll make it out of stone. Oop, getting off of me here. Make a stone hoe.
Nice.
Needing that to hoe the earth. I also require my seeds. I only have 6, but that's fine.
You just have to have dirt down, basically. And
Yeah, you need dirt. You need a water supply. Plop it in there. So what you're seeing is I've got one source block of water, or water spring, whatever you would like to call it. I don't think it is an official title, just water. And then this is running water. And you can't pick up the running water. I'm clicking to try and pick it up. You can't pick that up. You can only pick up the source. And if I had a second bucket of water, I could make an infinite source of water. So I'll have to go out when it's daytime so I can get that. You just click this earth, and now it is farmland. Now you don't want to walk on it because it will de-till it,
oh, okay.
mess it up, and if you have stuff growing on it, it'll kick that out. So I'm just going to hop out of here. And you can walk on it if you use shift. If you hold shift, you sneak, and you can walk on it fine.
Carefully walking on it, basically.
Yeah, you can also use that shift, which is, I think, sneak is what they call it, the official name, to hang out on the edge of blocks, which can get really useful if you're trying to build stuff or scope out an area without accidentally dropping down. So you can see these blocks are starting to get darker, and what's happening is the farmland is hydrating, and they have to be within 4 blocks of water to hydrate. I don't think they have to be hydrated to grow, but it will take a lot longer to grow if it's not hydrated.
Okay.
So I just drop these seeds down.
Will they hydrate after you've planted?
Yes, they
Okay.
will. They will hydrate after you
So you
have
don't have
planted.
to wait for it, basically.
Yeah, you can. I'm in a hurry always, so I just bloop, put that down. And depending on light levels and hydration and all that, I think like a day of game time, a day or two, for this to grow into full-grown wheat. So I'm not going to sit here and just watch that, because it does take some time. And it goes through a couple different stages of growth until it reaches harvestable wheat. And then when you harvest the wheat, you'll get wheat, and you'll get some seeds back.
That's the next question I had.
Right.
Renewability.
I don't remember offhand the number of seeds you get. I think it's at least one. It might be like between 0 and 3 seeds.
Right.
So if you keep growing wheat, eventually you'll have a lot more seeds than you have farmland to replant.
So pretty easy to renew as a resource.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All the plant stuff is pretty straightforward for the renewal.
So the wheat eventually becomes bread, obviously. Now, how does bread stack up against, say, like meat as a source in terms of healing and hunger and all that?
Not as well.
Right. So like the real world.
Yeah.
Mostly carbohydrates.
All the different food has a different level of how many meat shanks it will recover.
Right.
How many hunger shanks. There's also a secondary trait, I believe. I don't know what the word is for. Just satisfaction, I think, something like that. To how satisfying it is to eat. And that's kind of a hidden trait, and that'll determine how long before your hunger starts dropping again.
Oh, so there's a timer before hunger degenerates?
It's based on time and activity. If you just sit still, it'll regenerate at a more constant rate. But if you dash a lot,
that's
and
great.
Run and jump, it'll go down quicker. And meat will recover more hunger shanks than bread will. It'll also satisfy you more than bread will.
Right.
Bread is obviously easier to get if you happen to murder all of the animals in your area and you don't want to go find more. You can just keep growing bread forever and ever and ever. But it doesn't fill you up as much as a nice hearty pork chop or steak will.
So basically, good rule of thumb, if it has protein in it, more likely to be satisfying, but also harder to renew.
Yeah. It takes more work. And actually, you need wheat to renew the animals to get them to breed anyway. So even if you don't want to eat the bread, it's useful to have that. And it's also useful to make cake, which is neat. They added that when Minecraft sold, I believe, 1 million copies. That was their celebration. I don't see any chickens around. I need eggs from chickens to make that, so I'm able to make that.
I would celebrate too
today.
if I sold 1 million copies of something.
Oh yeah, it's
a hell of a it's a hell of an achievement in
it's
this market,
unbelievable.
especially.
Oh yeah. There's some rotten flesh. So there's zombies about.
Rotten flesh?
Yes, you can eat that, but it'll give you food poisoning. So I tend to not eat it. I don't even know why I collect it because it just goes in a box.
Can you use it for anything like productive, or
No.
just kind of a collector's item, I guess?
Yeah, right now that's, is it like an emergency food source? And if I...
That'd be a hell of an emergency.
There's a zombie around here. Put in spiders. Probably a cave. I'm walking right over.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Oh, there you go.
Creepy cave. Down there in the darkness.
One of the coolest parts of Minecraft, just happening upon a huge cave all of a sudden.
Stuff waits. Don't see anything. No, that's probably back in that way more. Yeah, these caves. I really want to get into exploring these caves, but I want to build up some more resources
More
first.
of a backbone.
Yeah, because that can get pretty involved, and you can end up getting sucked in and stuck down there forever. So you want to have a good amount of stuff to take with you. And it's a nice big area down there.
So if you're playing this as a survivalist, take heed of Jim's warning, and have a decent infrastructure built up before you go too crazy on cave exploring.
You're gonna want some stuff. Your general my tips of the game. Get a shelter, get a chest, get a bed, so you have a set spawn point. Build up a good amount of wood, stone, iron if you can, coal for torches before you go down in, because you might find yourself kind of stuck in an area for a while, or it gets annoying if you're in there for a long amount of time and you find a really cool cave, and it can be just like above ground. It can be hard to keep track of where you are. And sometimes it's easy to get really, really lost.
So you have to create like a breadcrumb trail of torches or something
like
that?
Yeah, you try. I just try and roughly memorize where I'm at and make some landmarks based on what's already there. But so much stuff just looks exactly the same, and it's easy to get yourself confused as to where you are. So you're probably going to be down there for a while. So you want a nice stock of stuff before you head in, so you're not constantly running back and forth from the surface. And the reason it's a problem to keep running back and forth from the surface is while you're underground, until you find some materials that let you build some more devices, as you progress a little bit more, you really don't have any way to know if it's daylight out. So you might emerge from your cave in the middle of the night. Oh, we just saw a zombie die. You might emerge from your cave in the middle of the night and find a bunch of shit waiting to kill you.
Right.
And if you're like 100 meters away from your house, you're kind of screwed. So sometimes it's better just to hang out down there. And if you're going to be hanging out, you're going to want something to do other than just sitting and watching the surface. And this is a pretty big area.
That's huge, yeah.
And this is all dark, so anything will spawn down in here in the darkness. There's a nice size hole down there. I'm not going to hang out too much in here. We just saw the zombie die over here. And even though it's broad daylight, it spawned somewhere down in there. And just from me walking over this area, it got a lock on me and followed me out, where thankfully it burned up in the sun. Zombies and skeletons, that's fine. But if a creeper does that, they'll just chase you down and blow you up. So there's some caution. So if you're going to stick around an area, it would behoove you to get down in there and light up the area. But then that entails a secondary risk. There is a finite number of creatures that can spawn. I'm just kind of wandering around. I just want to point out I'm not going towards anything in particular. Just ambling around while I chat. Oh, some pumpkins. Sweet.
Oh, yeah.
How fortunate. As you light up the caves, that light will prevent anything from spawning in them. And that just means more shit's going to spawn up on the surface around your house. So you want to light that up too. To a point. I never go too overboard with that because you'll spend a lot of resources trying to light up every square inch of the world. So, you got a pumpkin. You can take this pumpkin, you can break it down to pumpkin seeds now, and you can grow more pumpkins.
Pumpkin patch, nice.
You can take that, combine it with a torch, you can make a jack-o'-lantern, which is a light source. It's a block that you can place. You can place it underwater. So you have an underwater light source if you want to explore the bottom of the deep depths of the ocean.
And torches obviously will not work that way, so...
Right, torches will not work underwater, so that's handy. It also produces a light source that's one level higher than torches, so that if you use them as a light source, you don't need as many of them to cover as much of an area.
Higher, like vertically, or will it, like, in all directions?
There's a numerical value associated with the light.
Okay.
Torches, I believe, is 15. and that's, or 14, sorry. That may even be not entirely accurate. So this is 14. This square here is lit up with 14, and then 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, and so on.
And it's got to fall
diagonal. And it falls off as the blocks go in the three-dimensional array around it. And any light source that is 8 or below, I believe, will be dark enough for stuff to spawn in.
Okay.
So, you want to place your torches such that there's enough overlap between them. Just down on the ground, you can space them out quite a bit. So it's 14, 13, 12,
and again,
11, 10, 9, 8.
Just to clarify, like any light source, when you have a number associated with it in terms of its light amount, that's going in all cardinal directions, right?
No.
Okay.
It goes out, so that's, that's 14, and then it decreases by 1 straight out, and then 2 diagonal, so that's 14, 13, 12.
Okay.
And, yeah.
A little more complex then.
A little more complex, a little more, I
really
would say realistic, but
right, yeah.
what in this game is actually realistic. Other thing you can do with pumpkins, put them on your head. And then all the world you see through a jack-o'-lantern. And then actually that now, and these pumpkins have been around since quite a while ago, several updates back. One of the new enemies they added, the Endermen, they will not be aggressive until you look at them, and then they charge at you with frightening speed. So you can't look at them unless you have a pumpkin on your head. If you put a pumpkin on your head and look at them, they don't care.
That's great.
They're fine.
There's actually a function for that.
Yeah, it actually has there's a reason to put a pumpkin on your head if you're wandering around. Oh, this is
sweet.
And I'm going to show you. This is really funny. So now I'm in a swamp biome where it's going to rain. So it's raining. Take a few steps over this way in the snow biome, and it's snowing. And I don't know if you caught that. If we look at the ground, and you can see the cutoff. Rain, snow. If I break down the snow will generate that poof. So you can, that kind of curtails trying to leave yourself trails in the snow because it'll snow over it. And I think the last update it started breaking stuff.
So wait, weather just kind of happens,
and
like, so I mean, it seems like they corresponded with one another, right? When the snow and the rain started at the same time.
Yeah,
and then it reads what biome it's in and determines what kind of weather happens.
Right.
That's crazy.
I don't know if there's, I don't know like the timing or like the specific sort of mechanic behind when weather does or doesn't happen, but I think it's centered around a wider geographic area than just the biome you're in.
Okay.
Because I've seen that happen quite a bit, so it's probably just selected this large area as a place for weather, and then it just picks the appropriate weather. It's cool because we're close enough to the rain area that if it starts, if lightning starts hitting back there, you'll hear it.
Still be able to see it even though you're in the snowy biome.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that.
That's really peaceful. Here where we live, we're coming up on winter, and winters around here usually suck pretty bad.
Peaceful, not so much. Hellstorm, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Some of us are lucky enough to work for institutions that close when it snows too bad. And I am looking forward to many snow days this year where I can sit down here as I am right now in nothing but my bathrobe in the freezing dungeon I live in.
That's the best way to do game commentary.
I am wearing, I mean, Nicole Test, I'm not wearing anything right now. I'm just got my bathrobe on.
I didn't want to say anything, but...
and thank God for that. You are a gentleman.
A little bit uncomfortable, but, I mean, I guess it's all to service the commentary, so...
I did find you another chair so you didn't have to sit on my lap, so I don't know why you're complaining.
Well, I mean, I complained enough last time that we finally changed it. I need to start a union or something for commentators.
Yeah.
Bad conditions. It's disgusting.
Well, let's check on...
let's take a look at this farm over here.
So you can see it's starting to grow. We've got the 3 stages we can see here. We got the initial planting. Let me just pop down there. We got the initial planting. This would be stage 1, stage 2, stage 3.
That's kind of nice that it happened like that. You can show it off.
And it grows at varying rates. This, I want to say, is not a very efficient farm design.
Too far away from the water?
No, I think it's just not an efficient use of space. I've seen a number of different designs out there. Honestly, I like this one. I don't really care if it's super efficient. Again, just like these torches, it's just aesthetically pleasing to me. And this like 3x3 grid,
It looks cool.
it looks cool in Season Manager, especially if you make like a wider area farm. You can have several of these with water flowing between them, and I think it looks neat.
Like little irrigation ditches between each row and stuff. Yeah, I've seen some videos like that.
Now I'm gonna try and plant a pumpkin too while I'm at it, and those are a little bit more complicated.
A little finicky.
Yeah, this might actually, well, I'll plant it here. That'll be safe. So we just got a little dot of a seed there. So the pumpkin seed will grow into a vine, and then that will produce a pumpkin on any single farm square next to it, which is the farmland.
Oh.
And it only grows one. And then you have to harvest the pumpkin, and then harvest the vine, which will usually drop seeds. And then you have to replant the vine, and it starts entirely over. There's also watermelon in the game. But you have to, I think they spawn very rarely above ground, but usually you have to find them in chests hidden beneath the surface to get the watermelon seeds. And those you can just plant a single vine, and it'll grow up watermelon. Harvest the watermelon into slices, which you can eat, and retill the land the watermelon grew on, and you can just leave the vine and it'll keep growing watermelons forever. And then there's neat tricks you can do to auto-harvest that stuff. Wheat you can also auto-harvest, but it's with the plants there's a lot of automation you can do, and that's another thing that you probably won't see from me in a little while. Automating different processes in the game, because it relies on a lot of stuff I just don't have yet.
You're still early on in your world here.
There's a lot of stuff I need to dig down deeper into the earth or go explore a deep cave for to find. But there's a lot of automation you can do in the game. But plants are one thing that you really can't, like most of these things, you can't fully automate it, because you do still have to till the earth, you do still have to plant stuff. There's not a device or any kind of trick you can use to make that keep happening.
Have you talked at all about the differences between different fuel sources for the ovens?
No, I haven't.
I was wondering about that. Like, is it just that some of them are consumed more quickly than others? So it's just like an efficiency thing?
Yes. There's different fuel sources that you can use, and you can generally assume that if something is burnable, something that you would use to run a fire at home is something you would burn in this.
Right.
You know, a lot of that stuff, I think they've done a good job of keeping it like, I wonder if this works. Oh, it does work, because it's, you know, what you would expect.
Wood blocks, sticks, coal.
Right.
Starting
with wood log, lava.
Oh,
you
yeah,
take a
of course.
bucket of lava.
Right.
And that will consume the lava.
Perhaps the most
but
obvious source
leave
of
the bucket. And that's I've never used that, and here's why. All these different materials that you can use to fuel your furnace have a different efficiency, and the efficiency would be rated as how many blocks they will smelt, how long, that's the time. That's how you would measure the time of how long they burn, because they all burn at the same rate, like actual time-wise.
Okay.
But they stay burning for different lengths of time. So I'm going to take some of this cobblestone. And with cobblestone, you can put it in a furnace and then smelt it back into the regular stone, which I would call smooth stone, that you break down to get the cobblestone. So if you want to build something with a nicer looking veneer, you can build that. And you also use that stone to make some other stuff. So I'm just going to smelt some of this. So starting from a wood log. Wood log, I believe, will burn 1.5 blocks. And that's
per
stone. Per stone. So it's going to get to the half block and then stop. And then all that process is wasted.
That was inefficient.
So and that's kind of foolish, because you get the same amount of time out of a wooden plank, 1.5 blocks. And you get 4 wooden planks per 1 log.
Right.
So I just wasted that log.
Right.
So those will both burn 1.5. A stick will burn for 1/2. So what you can do with that is you can drop a stick in, drop a log, so now, or a wooden plank, so now you have two full ones. That's still not super efficient.
Interesting though.
Yeah, I mean it's a good combo on. Obviously, you can run the math on that, figure out how many wood planks you need to burn these. The most of anything you can place in this is a full stack, and a full stack of is 64.
Right.
So the most you can have there is 64, and this is why I don't use lava. Lava will burn for 100 blocks.
Oh, okay.
But that's what, 36 blocks more than what you can
Right.
max out on this. So you either have to time it just right that you get back in and put more blocks in there,
Right.
or you've just wasted that.
Or it's
and
wasted,
then
yeah.
the lava is gone forever. And currently lava generates, like anything else, limited quantity. You can't infinitely create more lava. There's ways you can keep getting more and more lava, but it's not something like the wood or charcoal that you can
can't
just
grow
make
it.
yourself. Yeah, you can't grow it. So I'm, again, experiment with it, but I don't use it. I have other uses I'd rather use lava for. Now we move on to coal. Coal will burn for eight blocks. And it's the
Hugely
same with
efficient.
charcoal. Right. It's a big difference. And you can see each of these, it takes just as long for it to cook out or smelt out a full block. It just lasts longer. And this also, you can't see it because I have this bed here. Just break that down. A nice little burning animation. And that will light up the area as long as that is burning.
So it's a light source in itself.
It is a light source in itself, and it will also melt as a light source. It'll melt any snow around it. So it will light up the area, but it'll only burn as long as it'll only start burning as long as you have something to burn in there. If I put a piece of coal in there and then put like one block in, it would smelt that block and then keep burning.
Right, but
So
not lighting.
It would keep lighting.
Oh,
It would
okay.
keep burning as if you were cooking something until that coal ran out.
Okay.
But if I didn't have anything for it to smelt and just dropped a coal in there, it wouldn't do anything. It would
Okay.
just wait. That's not really, if you're going to use material to light up an area, you're better off just making a torch.
Yeah. Still a handy thing to know,
Yeah.
especially for someone just out in the field trying to use what he has.
So that is done with that. So I'm going to show you if you aren't like lucky like me, and finding coal straight away. You get to the first night, you don't have any coal to make torches, but you do have some stone. You can make a furnace. You can just take a log, 2 sticks or a plank and a stick. And again, a wooden plank, 2 wooden planks will give you 4 sticks. So basically 1 wooden plank is equal to 2 sticks.
Right.
Oh. It's more, you get, 1/2, you're starting to see this, you get 1/2 block burned off of a stick.
Right.
You get 1.5 off of a plank.
Right.
So you actually get 1/2 more fuel from a plank than you do from sticks.
Right.
So that's, it's a numbers game. You can play around with the numbers. So I've made charcoal by cooking that wood log down to it. And this is functionally the same as coal. It doesn't stack with coal.
Right.
It occupies a separate area, even though they look exactly the same.
But the same fuel.
It fuels the same, makes torches the same, and then the torches you make from it are just torches. Nothing special to it, so that can be really handy. And in this way, if you have a bunch of trees growing in an area that you continually chop down, you can just keep cooking them in a charcoal and have a limitless supply of it. It just takes time.
It's really useful.
It takes time to cook it. So that's just, I'm in completely the wrong area here. Just going to make that into a torch. It stacks with other torches. So that's really handy. So if you're having trouble finding coal, you can just use the logs.
Make charcoal.
Yeah, I know they added earlier on. I think it was really cool. What is making all this hissing noise? Something's being set on fire, and then I think it's being put out by
the snow?
By the snow.
Oh, cool. I didn't know snow could do that.
I'm gonna man up and run out there.
Venture out into the wastes. Where are you at? Oh, there it is. And now he's in your home. You're gonna shit on your doorstep.
Get away from my house. I don't know now. I don't know. I can't even see the sun right now. This is how terrified I am of this single zombie, man. I'm just doo-doo-doo.
Constantly backpedaling, waving your arms
I
frantically.
assume he is where the sizzling sound is coming from. That he's just catching on fire because it's daylight.
Right.
And then immediately being put out.
Instantaneously put out.
And I broke my sword, so I'm just gonna have to bare knuckle this asshole.
Bare knuckle brawler.
Take it.
Do it.
Show you some cool stuff with combat. If you dash at them with a double tap, you get knockback.
Oh, what?
Come at them from above.
Put knockback in.
Critical strike.
Oh shit! Yeah, they throw off a little crit spark there. That's neat.
And then you get some experience.
This game continues to impress.
Yeah, this is all stuff they've added in
Awesome.
Recent updates. Got some wheat growing down there. We can see it's advanced on to further stages. It's like 2 stages away from being full ripened wheat. you can plant. So hopefully next time I'll have some wheat ready.
It's yellowing a little bit now.
Yeah,
It's cool.
and that does take some experience. Like anything else in this game, this game doesn't come with instructions, really. They don't tell you any of this stuff. There is a wiki?
Mm-hmm.
I never pronounce that right. and even when I am pronouncing it, what I later find out is right, I'm sure I'm doing it wrong, no matter how I say it.
No confidence.
But yeah, there's so many things that I read but never have to say, never
Right, you
hear
have to
spoken.
pronounce it.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a wiki for this, minecraftwiki.net, where you can find all this information. But I can tell you, as someone who spent a lot of time on that site, especially when I first bought this game, it's not really easy to just like click through and get like a step-by-step, like do this, and this leads to this. The information is just kind of there. And it's organized nicely, but you could spend forever just staring at stuff and reading anything you can read on that site and still completely miss things. I mean, it was like months of playing this game before I ever did anything with farming.
Right.
Because I had seen it on there and thought, oh, well, I'll look at that later. I never even read it. And when I went to get it, I had no idea how to get the seeds. I had no idea how to any of it worked. And reading through on the site, I finally, got it down and figured it out enough to get some wheat grown. But it's really hard to just look at that site and pick up, oh, I'm gonna do this.
It's organized like an index in a book. So
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
if you have a specific goal in mind, great, that'll be useful. But in
It's
terms
like-
of like progression of your character,
Yeah, you kind of already need to know what it is that you're looking for
Right.
before you go looking for it.
chicken and egg problem.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with the series, is give people more of a kind of step-by-step, like, okay, now you're at this stage, and now you built yourself a little shelter, now you can start a farm. I'm still learning, still getting the pacing down. I know it can be a little disorganized. It's kind of tough to keep track of everything.
Can't really help that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a script for this. I don't have a plan like, oh, I'm going to do this today. It's mostly like, I need this for this part of the game, and while I'm doing it, I'll explain to you what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
So forgive me if it seems a little disjointed, but I hope that in between the useful tidbits of information, there is some amusement for you all.
Well, I learned a lot actually, so
Really?
looking forward to seeing more of this.
Sun is setting on another day. Got structures sound, should be safe. Doors in the right
I was
places.
gonna say you got your door on the right side.
I believe it's all lit up. I haven't crunched the numbers. I just kind of go off of visualizing, like, oh, this looks lit up enough. I think this is okay. So I'm gonna take a nap here, and I think that's where we're gonna cut it off for today. Nick, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
How many episodes are you up to now in your Dark Souls? Let's Play?
Should be just about 14 episodes done as of maybe 2 days from now, once I get the editing done.
Jeez. This is like
going well.
episode 2. I think we started working on these at around the same time.
Well, you'll pick up momentum.
Yeah, I think you're just a lot more efficient than me. I spend a lot of time just kind of staring at the walls down here in my dungeon.
That's all right. It's a good use of time.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hope you enjoyed, and hope you will come back and check out the next episode wherein stuff happens.
More things occur.
Yes. Nighty night.
Peace.
Fingers crossed. I'm alive!